to be here today at Atlanta Motorsports Park. It's a beautiful day, and we're very excited to bring you the car today. There's been a lot written and said about this car over the years. It was introduced in 2009 and unfortunately went out of production in 2015. The car we're talking about today is the Ferrari 458. And in this particular case, we're talking about a Spider version, which was introduced in 2011. The 458s were an extremely popular car for Ferrari, and justifiably so. They really announced the fact that the mid-engined V8 cars were no longer playing second fiddle to their big cars. Just like Porsche, where they don't want any of their cars to be faster than the 911, Ferrari has the same issue where they really don't want their little cars to be faster than their V12s. But the 458 arrived with 200-mile-an-hour credibility, enough power to dominate any racetrack, and it also, thanks to today's technology and computer power, it has a personality that can be adapted to fit whatever environment you want to be in. It has a historic color on it called Ferrari red. It's a very dark red color. Ferrari currently has about 9 colors of red on their palette. This is the darkest of the 9. And it's a historic color because originally Italian racing red was a very dark blood red. But over the years, they've changed it and lightened it up because it would look better on TV, and some of the later shades now, they've changed them to look better on color TV. Although I do note that in this year of 2022, the Formula One team, for harking back to their history, their Formula One cars are painted a color much like this, a much darker red color. And I think they look awfully good this year. I just wish they ran as good as they looked. Ferrari developed this V8. It's a 32-valve, double overhead cam V8. It's 275 cubic inches for all of us on stateside, 4.5 liters for the other parts of the world. Its engine is a marvel, winning International Engine of the Year multiple times. It's a 9,000 RPM naturally aspirated engine that can pull down to 2,000 RPM like a big block. You can run around all day long and never exceed 3,000 RPM. The flexibility of the engine is due to the variable intake plenums, camshafts, and ignition timing that provides almost infinite tuning possibilities. In fact, each of the 7 gears has its own separate dyno curve. It's no wonder the 458 was benchmarked by the Corvette Z06 design team for their new V8. Now, while other supercars have many, if not all, of these design features, it's the seamless integration of these that makes it all transparent to the driver. You are never aware of the software imposing its will on the car, only that you feel all about being the hero driving the car. Already the 458 is seen as a modern classic, of course, because it is the last naturally aspirated V8. But to me, the car will only gain an appreciation because of its balance of usability, performance, and just plain fun to drive attributes. The car has a light, playful feel until you want to get serious. Then it becomes the tiger by your side. When Ferrari introduced the 458, some of the comments that they had in the press was that the car was too responsive, that the tip end of the throttle pedal was so responsive that you really had to drive the car like there's an egg underneath your gas pedal. And I found that to be true, even though they said for the Spiders that they had lightened up the tip end of the throttle and softened it up a little bit. This is still a car that you've got to really pay attention to the gas pedal. Not for the obvious reason that it can take you to triple digits before you realize it, but the fact that if you want to drive it smoothly, it is exactly like a manual transmission car. This transmission, this dual clutch transmission, locks up so tight that if you let your foot off the gas, you can get a little herky-jerky action. The steering is very direct. When you're driving the car, I think the best compliment I can give it is you're not really aware of the steering. You kind of turn your head, you look someplace, and the car just goes there. It's very quick at 2 turns lock to lock. It has adequate feedback. There's some people that, feedback is relative. Some people want more. I think this has a very good balance of feedback versus being able to drive it all day long, which really this is a GT car. You can soften up the suspension and you can take it anywhere and go anywhere with the car and spend as much time around it as you want. It's the car that when I'm driving home, I usually try to make one more loop before I get to the garage. You always want to have just a little bit more fun before you park it. As I said, this car is a Spider. It was the first mid-engine car to have a metal retractable top. This top actually saved weight over the 430 Spider's soft top, which is kind of surprising. And it's a pretty neat little top. I'd like to show you how that works. All right, we're going to try the top operation here. All right, the top goes up and down in about 14 seconds. I never really timed it, that's what they say. It's quick enough to do it at a stoplight if you wish to. I don't know why you would, but I guess that's impressive to the people around you. I think the car looks absolutely fantastic with the top down. It's very reminiscent of the mid-60s mid-engine racers with the little humps behind the driver here hiding the roll hoops. The car looks rather enclosed from the side with the windshield where the hoops are, but you get a very good convertible feeling in this car and you get a nice amount of air. And one of the things I really like about the Ferraris is I like the way you see out of this car. The A-pillars are a little thick, but basically your vision is very unobstructed. You've got a great hood that drops away to the road. You're able to see out of the car. You don't get that enclosed feeling like you're looking out of a bunker. That's something that Ferrari over the years has always done with their cars. Typically, you can see out of the car very well. And I think that's important, and it also adds to the enjoyment of the car, the open, airy feeling of the cockpit rather than feeling that you're looking through a little slit window. I would say that if you're interested in buying a 458 and you want to find out how it works, Ferrari of Atlanta put a couple of excellent videos on YouTube showing how all the dash and the controls work. I'm not going to bother with that here. I'll put links to those YouTube videos below our video so that you can see it. It rev matches downshifting. It makes everybody think you're a hero from trackside, but it's all the little ones and zeros doing the work and making you look good. All right, as we said, we're at Atlanta Motorsports Park. We do all of our testing here on the track. It's a safe, controlled environment. I can tell you being on this track is a lot safer than the drive I took getting to the track. I highly encourage people, if you've got a high-performance car, if you wish to go out and enjoy it, please find a local racetrack near where you live and go have some fun. Going to give you some impressions of driving the 458. Typically, when I'm out on the track, I like to just enjoy myself. I don't really work the brakes that hard because if you use up the brakes on a 458, the replacing them is about the cost of a new Mazda Miata, so I could do without that. 458 is a very light, good handling car. You know, as I said earlier, Ferrari likes to keep the V12s a little faster than the mid-engine V8s in the old days. But this is still a car that lapped Fiorino, their test track, faster than an F40, an F50, and was only a tenth of a second behind the IMSA. The car is very light on its feet. I like to tease my Lotus friends that this is a car Lotus would build if they could, which they've never had enough money to do the engineering it would take to do a car like this. And heaven help us if the British built a 9,000 RPM street engine. Who knows how long that would last. I find the best way to drive the car is to put it in race and let the computer sort the gears out and do what it needs to do. That way you can just drive it like a big go-kart, using the gas and the brakes. There's nothing like that naturally aspirated V8, 9,000 RPM red line. The turbo engines have quite a bit of punch in the mid-range. This one has to get a couple revs under its belt, but once it does, it zips to that 9 grand red line like nobody's business. It's a playful car. The engine is very willing to do your bidding. The computer perfectly rev matching it as you downshift. Well, that'll about do it for today, folks. It's a Steve Bush from Steve Bush Classic Cars. We've had a lot of fun. And we're going to pull her in here, let her cool down. We're going to wrap it up. We had a great day up here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. We hope we're able to capture the excitement of the little 458. It's really an exciting car to drive. To me, it's the real definition of a real supercar. The car is a lot of fun. Hopefully we captured some of the sound, because that little naturally aspirated V8 is what makes that car so special. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, please let us know, and if you don't, be kind and hit the subscribe button. Thank you from Steve Bush Classic Cars.